Hello, my beautiful fellow yogis. Addiction is a complicated disease, and unfortunately, with the added stressors created by the pandemic, a lot of people find themselves falling down that road with rates rising. One way that you can help is by replacing unhealthy habits with healthier ones like yoga. This workout is going to begin with a series of 5 sun salutations to work off some of that edginess you might feel if you're feeling tempted to use right now, and then go into some deep restorative stretches while we talk about some of the neurochemical and biological changes that make addiction so very hard to beat. You can do it. Thank you for making the healthy choice today to do something healthy. Let's talk to our mat. All right, beautiful yogi. Come to the front of your mat to stand tall in your Tadasana mountain pose. Your knees are soft. Your shoulders are down and back with a long, straight spine. Invisible string lifting your head to the ceiling. Let's bring our hands to heart center and set an intention for our practice. I have the power to choose healthier behaviors. Let's begin our 5 sun salutations. Inhale, looking up as your palms touch. And as you exhale, slowly walk it down your legs. And then we're just going to cross our arms, staying here for a few breaths as we loosen up in our first one. So you can let your back tick-tock side to side. You can bend and unflex your knees if that feels good. Give me 2 or 3 breaths here as you loosen up that lower spine, please. And then let your hands come down and just ragdoll as you exhale. Inhale to a beautiful flat spine. Exhale as you step yourself back into plank, the top of a push-up, and take a second to feel your strength here. Feel the strength of your body. Now, if you want to drop your knees to chaturanga, please be my guest. Otherwise, keep those elbows tucked in. Shoulders come slightly forward as you hover down. Feel your strength here for a minute, beautiful yogi. And then lift up into your first upward dog. But if you find that this is too much pressure on your back, my friend, come on down. Place your hands right beneath your shoulders. Come on up into Cobra right here. Your choice how you take it. This is about feeling good in your body, so take the option you want. Look over each shoulder here, gently loosening into the body. And then take a deep inhale as you open your chest to the sun. And exhale as you come up into your first down dog of the day. And let's deepen this here. Let's work on your form. So bend your knees. Shift your fanny a little higher, and then drop your heels, imagining that you have a pulley lifting those hips up towards the sky. And let's just walk out your dog since it's our first one. So just breathe here for 2 to 3 breaths as you alternate those heels, dropping towards your mat. And then let both heels come down. Give me a nice deep breath in your down dog. And what I want you to do is when you exhale, exhale with a smile and a sigh. So inhale nice and deep. Exhale. Smile and sigh as you walk yourself to the front of the mat. Surrender down to your forward fold. And then soften those knees as you ooey gooey round back up, all the way up to the top, looking up as palms touch. Round 2, back to heart center, and then inhale, look up. Exhale, surrender to your forward folds. Inhale to your flat spine, a little faster now. Exhale, step to plank. Inhale where you are. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling to your gorgeous up dog. Exhaling to your down dog. Pause here for 1 breath. Inhale. Exhale, smile and sigh. And then as you inhale, start walking it forward. Exhaling as you surrender to your forward fold. Inhaling as you soften those knees, looking up as the palms touch. Exhaling to heart center. Round 3. Inhale, look up, palms touch. Exhale, surrender, forward fold. Inhale to your flat spine. Exhale, step or hop back to plank. Inhale where you are. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling to your up dog. Exhaling to your down dog. Pause for a breath. Exhale, smile and sigh. Walk it up forward. Surrendering to that forward fold before inhaling all the way up. Exhaling to heart center. We're going to do 2 sun salutation B's, Surya Namaskar B. So as you inhale, dip down into a chair, fingertips brush. You can bring your fingertips to point as you inhale. Exhale, surrender, forward fold. Inhale to that flat spine. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, gather your strength. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to your upward dog. Exhale to your down dog. Listen up. Inhale, right leg comes up, down, split. Exhale, pull it through as you pivot the back heel. Inhale up to your warrior 1. Stay here for a breath. Take it back down. Step it back to your plank. Through your chaturanga. Inhaling to your up dog. Exhaling to your down dog. Inhaling left leg to a down split. Exhale, pull it through, pivot the back heel. Inhale, come up into your warrior 1. Stay here for a breath. Take it back down. Step it back to plank. Through your chaturanga. Inhaling to your upward dog. Exhaling to your down dog. Stay here for a breath. Slowly walk it forward. Surrendering to your forward fold. And then bending those knees. Back to Utkatasana chair. Before coming back, returning to heart center. Last one, beautiful yogi. Inhale, dip down for that chair pose. Exhale, surrender into your forward fold. Inhale to a flat spine. Exhale, step back to plank, chaturanga. Inhaling to your up dog. Exhaling to your down dog. Inhaling that right leg up to a down split. Exhaling, pull it through, pivot the heel. Inhaling to your warrior one. Take a breath. Take it back down through your plank, through your chaturanga, into your upward facing dog, back into your downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg up now to a down split. Exhale, pull it through, pivot the back heel. Inhale, come up to your warrior one. Take a breath. Inhale, take it down. Press it back to plank through your chaturanga. Inhaling to the up dog. Exhaling to your down dog. Hang out here for 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, smile and sigh. Inhale. Exhale, smile and sigh. Inhale. Exhale, let it all out. And then walk it forward to the front of your mat. Surrender to that forward fold. Bend your knees as you inhale to come into Utkatasana just for a second. Exhale back to heart center. Come to stand center on your mat. We're going to take it down for our restorative section now. So just cross your legs, ever so gently with control, lower down. Now if that's too much on your knees, you get down to the mat, however works for you. Wall, chair, make it work for you. Come into an easy Sukhasana seated position and just take 3 deep breaths to recover from that vigorous work. Hopefully that burned off some of that nervous energy, and we're going to get into some deep restorative stretches while we talk about the biological mechanisms of addiction. Take 2 more breaths with me here, yogi. And 1 more. Exhale, smile and sigh, and open your eyes if you had them closed. Great job. We're going to go into a seated Janu series. You can have a strap handy. I have my strap handy. And we're going to be flowing through 3 different variations of Janu. One of them, you're going to be facing your leg. You're going to be going down here. The other variation, the second one, we're going to be walking straight out in front. And yet a third, we're going to be leaning to the side. And the reason I'm showing you all those options now is because you might want to wiggle before I do, and that's okay. We'll be holding each of these stretches for 3 or 4 minutes, but feel free to make it feel good in your body. So if you're ready, grab that strap if you have it. Turn towards that foot, sit up so straight and tall, and then extend. And I don't want you to yank or pull. I want you to simply collapse, feel the stretch, and then just rock back and forth. What I'd like you to do as we move into our restorative section, to begin drawing your awareness to your breath. Inhale for a 4 count. Take a baby pause. And then exhale for a 4 count. And pause again before inhaling. So let's talk about some of the neurotransmitters involved, particularly in alcohol addiction. There's 3 big ones I want to talk about: GABA, glutamate, and dopamine. Now there's others that get involved. For example, serotonin, it works with so many of your neurotransmitters, but I want to address these top 3 in particular, and how they affect your mood and how they affect the disease model of addiction. Because drinking alcohol actually causes neurochemical changes in your brain that makes it harder to quit. Keep focusing on your breath. So let's start with GABA. What's GABA? GABA is like your brain's natural Valium. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter. It tells you to kind of calm down. It helps you calm down. And alcohol binds to your GABA receptors, which is why you feel relaxed when you initially take a drink. Glutamate is kind of like its Janu twin. That's an excitatory neurotransmitter that gets you going, and it inspires you to action, and it can also make you feel very, very edgy, and that's important if you have anxiety, or if you've ever experienced the dreaded morning after anxiety. Glutamate has a lot to do with that. And let's move this around. If you haven't already, I'm going to go ahead and come forward. I'm going to sit up nice and tall, and then I'm going to come forward from my hips. I'm going to place my elbows here, and I'm going to breathe. And then you have dopamine. Dopamine is your brain's pleasure chemical. And alcohol also binds to your dopamine receptors. So what happens is you take a drink, alcohol affects GABA and dopamine, so you feel relaxed, you feel great while you're drinking. The problem is it throws those chemicals out of whack. Your body craves homeostasis. It craves a sense of stillness. It craves the middle. It's like yin and yang energy. It needs to have the right balance. And when you start to come out of a drinking episode, what happens is your GABA receptors aren't getting that stimulation. So they're saying, oh my gosh, I gotta relax. I feel so edgy. I feel so anxious. Your dopamine saying, man, I don't feel good anymore. I feel depressed. I feel down. I'm not feeling good. And your glutamate's over there like, I know what to do, guys. I know exactly what to do. Let's go have a drink. Let's go have a drink. Let's go have a drink. And if you're not aware of this process, it seems logical. You might think to yourself, okay, I just need to have a little drink to take the edge off. But the problem is you're creating that feedback loop, and eventually those receptors in your brain that are supposed to respond to your natural neurochemicals only start responding to the alcohol, and that's when you have a real problem. You can't feel like yourself without the booze. And I wanted to kind of go over that. And I'm not a scientist, I'm not a biologist. I study this stuff on my own. I got sober during the time in my life that probably should have driven me to drink, and it was a very conscious choice. And the reason I was able to make that conscious choice is through knowing how these chemical changes were affecting my brain, and it gave me the strength to say, wait, I don't want this. What do I do to address it? And let's come on back out of this. We're going to go to the side. So sit up nice and tall again. You can take this arm, you can use it for support, you can be here. If you can tip over and take the toes, you can. If you can roll around, you can. So I wanted to share that tidbit with you, not because I'm an expert on alcoholism, but just because learning how your brain changes really helped me. And it really is a disease. It might start with a choice, but once those brain changes happen, it's every bit as real as heart disease or diabetes. It's just as hard to fight against. But you can fight against it. And one way that you can do so is by replacing those addictive behaviors with healthier, more nurturing ones, like yoga, which is why we're here today. It's what inspired this practice. It's something that I would do when I felt tempted, when my brain was screaming at me, oh my goodness, let's just take a drink to calm down. It's what really helped me, so I want to share it with you. And come on up out of this one. We're just going to open up to gate pose real quickly. So place your hand down, lift up, and we're just going to take 3 breaths here as we elongate, and we'll get that on the other side. And we got some beautiful puppies coming through. Hopefully you'll get them when they come down the trail. And come on up. And that's another thing that you can do, is play with your pets. Look to your pets as a sense of support. And let's come to the other side. So extend that other leg. Oh, we got a beautiful baby. It's okay. Oh my gosh. It's totally okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, lift up nice and tall. And here, if you want to grab that strap.
Yeah.
Turn towards that leg. We might have a canine visitor. It looks like we do. Hi, beautiful. Hi. Hi, handsome. And this is the best part of filming on location. Right here. Alright, just turn towards that leg. Stretch into it.
I never wanted to be in the yoga video.
She got her cameo. The best part of shooting on location is getting to play with other people's pets. If you remember that old song, yes, I am down with OPP, other people's pets. Yes, I very much am. But yes, if you are battling an addiction, you can look to your pets for support. It sounds crazy, but I'll tell you guys what, my cats have been a source of strength for me so many times. There were so many times when I was at my darkest that I was thinking, well, I have to stay here for my kitties. So play with your pets. Petting a cat or a dog can lower your blood pressure, lower stress levels naturally. Again, if you hold any of these variations of these poses a little differently than I do, a little longer than I do, that's okay. This is your healing practice. And I'm going to come up out of this and go forward now, placing my strap to the side. You're welcome to do the same. Lifting up tall and then coming down. Still focusing on that beautiful pace of breath. Inhaling for 4. A little baby pause. Exhaling for 4. And another baby pause. And another thing, it really helps to identify your triggers that you have that drive you to use. So I'm going to be quiet here as we stretch, and I invite you to reflect inward. What is it that gives you that feeling of I need to take a drink, or if it's another substance that you use, that you have to turn to it? Think about what conditions arise, either in their external world or even internally. Like, for example, I know many people with chronic pain use drugs and alcohol to self-treat. That might be your case too. Just think about that for a minute. What is it that compels you, that drives those behaviors that you don't like? So once you identify them, you can start to think about healthier ways to manage those feelings. And I'm going to just gently walk up out of this and take it to the side. Sitting up tall again as you transition. Take as much time as you need. And then leaning to the side. And again, if you want to take this arm here, if you're here, this is fine. If you want to tip all the way over and take the toe, be my guest. Just focus on your breath. And gently, with an attitude of curiosity, not judgment, just curiosity, think about your triggers. When you're ready, come out of that stretch. Counter stretch it with a quick gait for 2 or 3 breaths. And from here, bring that hand down, come onto an all fours position. We're going to do a little spinal opening here. So start with some cat-cows. Inhaling as you sink into the saddle of the low back. Exhaling as you round. inhaling as you sink. Exhaling as you round. 2 more, please, beautiful. Moving with your breath. Come back to a neutral spine with your next breath. Widen your legs. Extend your arms. Come back into your child's pose for 1 breath. And then your next inhale brings you forward to your belly. Press up into a cobra. Take 1 breath here. Then press yourself back into that child's pose. And take a breath. We're going to do this move 3 times. And bring it back up to your belly, shoulders or hands under shoulders. Press into cobra. Gently back to child's pose 1 more time. And then gently coming forward to your belly, hands on the shoulder, push up to cobra. And then just release those elbows to the mat, but stay here. And give me a few breaths here in a yin style sphinx. But unlike yin, you can sway side to side if you want, if that helps to loosen your back. I was watching a beautiful explanation of the difference between yin yoga and restorative yoga. It's on Yoga with Cassandra. No, I don't mind mentioning the quote-unquote competition. She's my inspiration. She's incredible. And she has a great explanation of the difference between yin and restorative. I tend to focus on restorative. So, if you're interested, I would check that video out. It's a very good explanation. Way better than what I could do, to be honest. So, worth a watch. And gently come on up. We're going to do a few twists here. Some of my favorite twists. I'm going to show you 2 variations. Come up starting in an easy Sukhasana seated position. You have 2 options here. Your first option is you're going to bring your legs kind of into a figure 4. So you're just sitting here, and all I want you to do is just very gently press against that knee and turn behind you. If you're a little bit more wanting to go deeper, you can cross this leg on top. You can reach around and bind. I don't know if you can see me grabbing the toe here. And you can go back. But what I don't want you to do is stretch to the point where you cannot breathe effectively. So if you can take deep breaths here, take this variation. But if your body is saying, honey, I feel like a twisted dish rag, you are right here. Pick the one that works for you. Continue to focus on your breathing. And if you've identified some of those triggers, start to think about alternative activities you can do when that overwhelming need to use strikes. This video is one thing you can do, but there are many others. Think about what you can do. And if you're still doing the deep work of identifying your triggers, take all the time you need. And let's bring this forward. And let's just gently switch to the other side. So come back into that easy Sukhasana seated position first. And then remember, your first option is to just bend like this. Gently twist behind. Only if you can deeply breathe do you take the second option. Reach around, bind if you want. And hold and breathe. And be. And while I promise to be quiet, I do want to note one thing. You might find this workout difficult at first. Not so much because of the physical component, but because of the mental component. And that's okay. Keep it on your playlist. Maybe do a little bit one day, a little bit the next. It's difficult and challenging to sit with the scary feelings that can compel you, that can trigger you to want to use substances. But the only way out is through. The only way is to confront those things that are compelling you. So be gentle with you as you go through this workout. Do what you can each day. Be gentle with your spirit as you reflect. Don't blame yourself for bad choices you've made in the past. Focus on what you can do going forward. Focus on congratulating yourself for being here today, making this healthy choice right here and right now. Maybe one more breath. And gently come out of this. We're going to start working our way down. So make sure you have plenty of room to go back on your mat. We're going to start with one of my favorite stretches for the front of your thigh. I'm going to show you a variation. You won't see me for a second. But your first option is simply grabbing your ankle, lying on your side, pulling back here. If you can, if you have the flexibility, you're going to actually place the top of that foot on the mat. You might be really feeling the stretch on your knee here. I'll be honest with you, my arthritis in my knee is kind of kicking a little, so it might be a little harder for me today than normal. But if you want, you can come back here. If you really want, you can come all the way back. Focus in on your breathing and continue that deep mental work. And love yourself. Part of that mental work is congratulating yourself for being here and making this healthy choice. Gently come up out of this one when you're ready. Be very easy with yourself. Coming on up. Bringing that leg around. Giving it a little love. And then just taking that on the other side. Slowly going back. Only to the point where you're comfortable. Remember, you have the option to lie on your side. Last breath here, fellow yogi. And then with infinite gentleness, come on out of this one. Bring that leg around. Shake it out just a little bit. And we're going back down. Double check. Make sure you have plenty of room. And then gently, gently bring it down. Let's do some deep hip opening. So go into your supine pigeon, crossing one leg over the other. Reach underneath and pull back, or you also have the option of taking the hands out of the equation. Rocking side to side if that feels good. Pulling back and finding the stillness if that feels good. and simply breathe. Give me one more breath here, beautiful yogi. And as you exhale, bring that bottom heel back to the ground. You're going to take that top knee, you're going to let it fall in the direction it wants to go. You're going to bring those hands across the chest, and you're going to feel a great opening in this ITB band that runs from your hip down to your knee. If you have a lot of tension or tightness in that area, this might feel really, really good. It's also a great stretch to do if you have ITP problems that manifest as knee pain. I know sometimes it just radiates right down, so. What I'd like you to think about, if you've identified some triggers and some healthier ways to cope when they strike, now begin to focus on how much better your life will be when you take back your power and choose healthier habits. Think about all the things that your addiction prevents you from doing. Maybe attending certain functions because you're too busy using. Think about the freedom that you will have and all the wonderful things you'll be able to do. When you embrace your power to make healthier choices, including finding the support you need, live your life free from substance use. Really focus on the positive benefits. Start to feel them in your heart center as we move through our final few stretches together. And then come back up to center. Take the left knee or whichever knee was crossed to your chest at a 90-degree angle. Extend your other leg out. This time you're going to cross your body, going into a deep spinal twist. Hold and breathe. And as you breathe, beautiful yogi, start making your exhales longer than your inhales, flowing into 2-to-1 breathing, starting to induce that alpha state if you're not there already mentally. I do have a guided meditation that goes with this video. Might not come out at the same time. I want to do them separately so that you have them both to use at different times in your journey. But if you'd like to follow this video with a meditation, it can enhance the work that you're doing here. Give me one more breath here, Yogi. And come on back. I think we have a plane, not a helicopter overhead. I apologize for any background noise. But go ahead and cross that other leg on top now. Remember, you can reach underneath or simply extend to the side and rock side to side. These are our final 3 stretches here, Yogi. One or 2 more breaths here, Yogi. And gently come down. That top knee is going to fall in the direction it wants to go. Arms go out to the other side. Get that nice deep ITB band stretch. One or 2 more breaths. Come on back to center. That top leg now comes to a 90-degree angle as you extend the other leg. Cross it over your body for our last spinal twist. I want you to take a moment to thank and congratulate yourself for making this healthy choice. I also want to request, if this video helped you, please give it a like. Please share it with other people who may benefit. We grow through you, so please help us out by subscribing to our channel. We're working on some cool bonus membership material, so let us know in the comments what would be some good rewards that you would like if you want to become a channel member. You can also support us on Patreon and pick up our gear in our store. We'll have all the links in the description of this video. I always hate making this pitch, but it is how we grow, so if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and please subscribe. Absolutely congratulate yourself on doing a beautiful thing for yourself today and taking back your power, on kicking addiction to the curb, at least for this short hour together. At least for this long, you made the right choice, and that deserves praise. Congratulate yourself as you roll onto your back. Beautiful fellow yogi. Bring those knees into your chest. Give yourself a giant hug of love. You are worth it. You are worth overcoming your addiction, and you are strong. Cling to your support. Make healthy choices. And thank you so much for choosing to practice with us here today. Please take your final resting pose. Take a few moments simply to breathe and be as you reap and relish in the rewards of your practice. Congratulations on making a healthy choice. And namaste.